Well, let's turn to 401k then. Because this is the time of year when we will definitely check in with an updated pay stub and see how far into the year are we and how much have you put away and are you going to hit your numbers? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, well, this is the one employee benefit that doesn't have this sort of make a decision by X date or you're screwed
Yeah.
deadline, right? Because every every client I've ever worked with, I don't know if there's an exception to this. You can change your 401k contribution rate and your investments at any time during the year.
Yeah.
So there really isn't the same deadline pressure, but if your open enrollment is in the fall, as most employers are, it's a really good time, as you say. It's just a reminder to go in and look at how much you're contributing. Are you on track to get to the full 23,000 this year? Plus, if you're using after-tax 401k, are you on track to max that out, or at least max it out to the level you planned to?
Right.
Is the money being invested or languishing as cash? If it's invested, is it invested appropriately? So it's just a good reminder. Hey, I'm looking at all this other, oh my God, administrative BS that's really important to do. Might as well add this to the list and just make sure that everything's looking fine.
Agreed. We do the exact same thing. Another it's like a little inside baseball for the average listener, but one of the other things we will always look at, especially if it's a newer employer for us, is we will look at the summary plan document for the 401k and see if they have a true up provision.
Mm-hmm.
So a true up provision for you guys at home, like sometimes you might be like, beginning of the year, I just want to put the 23 grand in and be done. And I'll get my full match. So I'm great. And that's not the case always. It's dependent upon the rules of the plan. So it's not necessarily that they're going to match, 3% of your salary based on you maxing out the 401k. It'll also be dependent upon the timeliness of when you put the money in.
You actually have to put the money in. You have to put the money in every paycheck in order to get the match sometimes.
Right, exactly. And a true up provision is really designed, and I might be misspeaking on calling it a true up provision, but the gist of it is that it basically says, you know what? You want to put your 23 grand in January, Meg, go for it. We'll make sure you get your full match at the end of the year. So if it has that, you're great. But if you don't have that and you're running it in, you might be missing out on thousands of dollars of match. So it's just something to be mindful of.
So there's basically one topic left, I think, that we actually need to make a decision on during open enrollment. And all the rest are things we just want you to be aware of. They're benefits that if you develop a need for them, we want you to know they're there. But accidental death and dismemberment is AD&D is the one choice you have to make to actually enroll in it and pay a premium or not, that both of us have had a lot of clients over the years asking whether they should or not. And it's scary as shit the way it's described. Like, well, God, yes, if I lose both eyes, I absolutely want to have an insurance payout. Oh my God. Or like a leg and an arm. I tend to think that AD&D, you can be something called insurance poor, which is you are insuring against so many risks that you are just paying out so many premiums, and the likelihood that any of this is going to actually happen to you is vanishingly small. And AD&D sort of falls into that category for me because if you have adequate health insurance and adequate life insurance and adequate disability insurance, all of which we've just discussed what constitutes sort of adequate. If you have all of those are more or less going to cover all the risks that accidental death and dismemberment AD&D coverage also covers.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I think for most people, they can typically go without it and be okay. I think that a person who might want to look at turning it on is someone who is underinsured on the life insurance side because they can't be in the private markets. It's another space where they may be able to flip this on and have a bit more coverage for their family. And it's not guaranteed, right? Because now there's specific rules for accidental death and dismemberment. There's kind of these specific rules at which you get the money, but it's better than nothing.